Good morning everyone. Today in this session I am going to discuss regarding the D and F block elements. The D block elements, it is also known as transition elements. Since D block elements, they are placed in between the S and P block elements, hence these elements are also known as transition elements. And F block elements are known as inner transition elements, because F block, they are from after the lanthanum, the F series starts here. Since they are in the inner of the transition elements, hence they are known as inner transition elements. In the D block elements comprises from group 3rd to 12th group of the periodic table is known as the D block elements. D block elements in which the last electron enters into the penultimate D subshell. It is defined as the last electron enters into the penultimate D subshell. What is this penultimate? You know that outer shell is known as valence shell. Just inner to the valence shell is known as penultimate shell. The definition for D block element is the last electron enters into the penultimate D subshell, then the element belongs to D block. D block elements in which they are partially filled or they may have vacant orbiters. If it is completely filled orbiters, last valence shell is completely filled, then the element does not belong to transition elements. For example, if I take the elements like zinc, cadmium and mercury, in which the valence shell is completely filled. Zinc, cadmium, mercury, in which the last valence shell is completely filled, they are not a D block elements, but since their atomic number comes here, they are just placed in the D block elements, but they are not a D block elements and they are known as pseudo transition elements. Zinc, cadmium and mercury are known as pseudo transition elements. Pseudo means they are false transition elements. Here transition elements means they should be partially contain partially filled D orbiters. If it is completely filled D orbiters, then they are known as pseudo transition elements. Example, zinc, cadmium and mercury. In D block elements, the elements are in which the D orbital is partially filled in atomic as well as in its oxidation state. If we see the electronic configuration of D block elements, the general electronic configuration of D block elements is N minus 1 D 1 to 10 Ns 1 to 2 is the general electronic configuration of D block elements. Here the D block elements we study in terms of series. First series from scandium to zinc, scandium 21, zinc 30. From scandium to zinc is known as first series or first transition series. It is known as 3D series. Since the last electron enters into the 3D subshell, it is known as 3D series. Here from scandium to zinc, it is known as 3D series or first transition elements. From yttrium to cadmium is known as second transition series. Here yttrium, it is having 39, cadmium is its atomic number is 48. Second transition series or it is known as 4D series. 3D series, 4D series, 5D series and 6D series. Since the last electron enters into 3D subshell, it is known as 3D series. The last electron enters into 4D subshell, it is known as 4D series. The last electron enters into 5D and here in the 6D. From lanthanum to mercury, it is known as the third transition series. Lanthanum with atomic number 57 and mercury it is having atomic number 80. The last 6D series, it is an incomplete series, starts from the element actinium with atomic number 89. If you see next element here 104, there is a gap here from 90 to 103, they are F block elements. After lanthanum, here from 58 to atomic number 71 are F block elements. Since the F block elements comes from the inner of the transition, hence it is known as inner transition elements. Lanthanum 57, hafnium 72 up to the mercury 80 is the third transition series. Here if you see zinc, cadmium and mercury, these are completely filled, hence they are known as pseudo transition elements. Let us write their electronic configuration. So scandium, here I write with respect to the noble gas argon, its atomic number is 18. Argon 3D1 4s2 scandium. Next titanium will be here argon 3D2 4s2. Vanadium will be argon 3D3 4s2. Next here chromium as well as copper, it is different. Manganese here argon 3D5 4s2. Iron, its electronic configuration is argon 3D6 4s2. Cobalt will be argon 3D7 4s2. Nickel argon 3D8 4s2. Last one is zinc here, its electronic configuration is argon 3D10 4s2. If you see here, d orbital is completely filled as well as the s orbital 3D10 4s2. Since they are completely filled here, these elements are known as pseudo transition elements. They do not have any similarities with that of the d block. Since their atomic number comes in the order, it is placed in d block. Yttrium, here krypton 4D1 5s2. Here next, here if you see this one series 4D series, here it is not having a regular electronic configuration. So it is having irregular configuration. You can just remember the yttrium and the palladium here. Palladium krypton 4D10 5s0, and for silver it is krypton 4D10 5s1, and for cadmium it is krypton 4D10 5s2. It is having completely filled d as well as s orbital in case of cadmium, hence it is known as pseudo transition elements. Next comes here the 5D series. Xenon 5D1 6s2 configuration. Similarly, this series also you no need to remember, just remember here first one as well as the last one. Xenon 5D10 6s2 configuration. It is also completely filled here. Actinium comes here. Radon 6D1 7s2 configuration. Here if you see this one, scandium argon 3D1 4s2, in which the last electron enters into the 3D subshell, hence it is known as 3D series, and this one 4D series, 5D series as well as 6D series. If you see here, this is N, his principal quantum number is 4, 5, 6 and this is 7. But the last electron enters into 3D. So, it is the last electron enters into the penultimate shell. Inner to the valence shell is known as penultimate shell. This is the electronic configuration of these d block elements. If you see the general electronic configuration is n-1d 1 to 10, ns1 to 2 is the general electronic configuration for d block elements. Here if you see the last here elements zinc, cadmium and mercury, they are having completely filled d orbitals as well as they are having completely filled s orbitals. If we see the electronic configuration of these pseudo transition elements zinc, cadmium as well as mercury, here it is having n-1 d10 ns2 as its configuration. If we see the electronic configuration here we are studying these elements in terms of series, that is in terms of the rows we are studying here, not in terms of the groups, because we have observed that the chemical properties, the magnetic electronic properties are having similarities along the series, along its row. Hence, we are studying in terms of series rather than in terms of groups. We call it as 3D series, 4D series, 5D as well as 6D series. This is about the electronic configuration. Next comes here it's some of the general characteristics of the d block elements. General characteristics. In general characteristics, first we study regarding the atomic as well as ionic radii. Here, if we plot a graph atomic radii in terms of nanometer. Here we measure nanometer and these are the transition elements. Here first if I write here scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and comes here the last one is the zinc. Total here 10 elements are there. Each series is having 10 elements. After this first series, next comes the second series, that is from yttrium to the cadmium, yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver and last comes here the cadmium. Similarly, here last series lanthanum, hafnium, tantalum, tungsten, rhenium, osmium, iridium, platinum, gold as well as the mercury. First transition series, second transition and third transition. Here if we plot against this versus the atomic radius around 13. Here if you see the atomic radius of the first transition series, that is 3D series, initially the atomic radius goes on decreasing from scandium to the chromium. Then it becomes almost constant here. After this copper, there is an increase in the atomic radius is observed. Here initially what happens here, if we see scandium, it is having 3D1. If I take this as a nucleus and consider this as 3D subshell and this is 4s. You know that 4s it is completely filled. For scandium it will be 4s2. 2 means it is having 2 electrons. 3D here, 3D1 for the scandium, 1 electron. Titanium, 2 electrons. Titanium, vanadium, chromium. What happens here? Initially there are only few electrons are present in the 3D subshell. When there are few electrons present in the 3D subshell, there is a small repulsion takes place between the 4s electrons as well as 3D electrons. Here the repulsion is, we call this one as the electron-electron repulsion, or you can call it as a screening effect, or it is a shielding effect. Since initially there are only few number of electrons, the repulsion between the 3D as well as 4s electrons is very, very poor. So it is poor shielding effect is observed. Here as the electrons are goes on adding, what happens here? The effective Z, EF, nuclear charge increases, effective nuclear charge increases. As the number of electrons are added to the same shell, the force of attraction between the nucleus and the outermost electrons should increase. But if you see here, these are having very low shielding effect, low screening effect is observed because only few numbers of electrons are added initially. When the screening effect is very low, here if screening effect is very low here initially, then compared with the effective nuclear charge, as the electrons are added here, the force of attraction between the nucleus and the outermost electron increases, effective nuclear charge increases. When the force of attraction increases, effective nuclear charge increases. What happens to the size? The size decreases. Since the effective nuclear charge is greater than compared with the screening effect, it is greater, the attraction is greater than compared with the repulsion between the electrons of 3D as well as 4s. Since it is having poor screening effect, its nuclear charge, effective nuclear charge is more, the nucleus will pull the outermost electron, hence its atomic radius, what happens here? Its atomic radius decreases initially. Initially there is a decrease in the atomic radius. From scandium to the chromium, there is a decrease in the atomic radius. After chromium, what happens here? The number of electron increases as the number of electrons in 3D shells increases. Here the screening effect also increases, the repulsion between the electrons of 3D as well as 4s also increases. When you add the here electrons, what happens to the nuclear charge? Effective nuclear charge also increases, screening effect increases, effective nuclear charge also increases. Both are becomes same, they becomes constant here. Next what happens here? The screening effect. Screening effect as well as the nuclear charge both becomes almost same. When they both are becomes the same, what happens? They are both gets balanced. Hence here you can see a constant atomic radius. Constant means not exactly, here small variation you can observe. From chromium to the copper, there is a constant atomic radius is observed. After copper, here after copper what happens here? The more number of electrons are added, as the number of electrons increases, there is a greater repulsion takes place between these electrons, the screening effect increases due to the effective nuclear charge also increases, but here the screening effect is more than compared with the nuclear charge. Since the screening effect is more than compared with the nuclear charge, there is a repulsion takes place. When they repel with each other, what happens to the radius? The radius suddenly increases due to electron repulsion. Hence, there is an increase in atomic radius after the copper. Initially, there is a decrease here due to poor shielding effect. Poor shielding effect is here takes place. The shielding effect is having low than compared with the effective nuclear charge. Hence, there is a decrease in the atomic radius. Later on, the both get balanced, effective nuclear charge as well as screening effect both get balanced, and it remains a constant atomic radius. Later on, due to the electronic repulsion, here the screening effect increases than the nuclear charge due to electron repulsion. There is an increase in the atomic radius takes place. This is about the atomic as well as the ionic radius. After atomic and ionic radius, next comes here the metallic character. Here the d block elements exhibit the metallic character here. The reason is because they are having partially filled d orbitals or they are having vacant orbitals. Hence, they show the metallic character. They exhibit metallic character like metallic luster, exhibit malleability, ductility, high tensile strength, high thermal as well as electrical conductivity. These are having their elements are having specific metallic lattices. They are having metallic lattices like CCP, HCP as well as BCC lattices. All the elements does not have these metallic lattices except a few elements that is having zinc, cadmium, mercury. They does not exhibit these metallic characters because they are having completely filled d orbitals. To exhibit metallic character, they should have either vacant orbitals or they should have partially filled orbitals. Since they are having completely filled orbitals, along with that manganese also does not have a specific metallic structures, because it is having more than one metallic structure in case of manganese. After metallic character here, next comes here the ionization enthalpy. What is this ionization enthalpy? The energy required to remove the electron from its outermost shell is known as ionization enthalpy. In general, if you see here, this we study along the series where the electrons are added here, the electrons are added into the 3D subshell. Here the continuously we are adding the electron in only the one shell, that is 3D subshell. Since the electrons are added to the 3D subshell here, what happens here, in generally effective nuclear charge should increase. But in case of these d block elements, here it is not having a regular. It is not regular here. In general, along the period here, ionization enthalpy goes on increasing along the period, whereas down the group it should goes on decrease with increase in the atomic number. If you see ionization enthalpy, so here for few elements, here I want to explain you regarding this chromium. Chromium, it is having 24 as its atomic number. If I write this one argon, it should be I will write here. Chromium, it should be argon 3d4 4s2. It should be there. But here, since it attains stability by gaining one electron from 4s subshell, here the 3d as well as a 4s, that is n minus 1 subshell, n minus 1 d subshell as well as ns subshell, both are having similar energies. Since they are having comparable energies, one electron from 4s subshell will jump to the 3d, hence it attains a stable configuration argon 3d 5 4s1. Why the transmission of electron takes place? Because these two are having same energies, similar energies. Hence the chromium forms a stable half-filled d as well as a half-filled s orbital. To attain stability, one electron from 4s is transferred to 3d here. Exceptional case it is for copper as well as for the chromium. Argon, it becomes 3d5 4s1. Similarly, if you take for the copper here, copper, its atomic number is 29. If I write electronic configuration, it becomes argon 3d9 4s2. One electron from s, it jumps to d orbitals and it will form a stable completely filled d as well as half filled orbitals. These are very important in the exam. For 1 mark question you get. Which are the two elements here to attain stability? The electron from 4s, it is transferred to 3d. For the chromium, if one electron is transferred to 3d, it attains a stable half filled, as well as copper will attain a stable completely filled orbital. Its electronic configuration for copper becomes here argon 3d10 4s1 configuration. If you see these two elements, that is copper as well as chromium, here in case of copper as well as chromium, if you take here copper, chromium, it is 24, it is having argon 3d5 4s1 configuration, whereas in case of copper it is 29, argon 3d10 4s1 configuration. If I take the first ionization enthalpy, if I remove one electron from 4s, the first ionization enthalpy of these two elements is low. We can easily remove the electron from the 4s shell. After removing electron from the 4s, what happens here? It forms an electronic configuration argon 3d10, 4s becomes what here? 4s0. And here it will form argon 3d5 4s0 as configuration. First ionization enthalpy is low, easily we can remove the electron from 4s. If we want second ionization enthalpy, if we go for second ionization enthalpy, from where we had to remove the electrons? We had to remove the electrons from the stable half-filled orbitals. To remove the electrons from stable half-filled orbitals, energy required is very high. Ionization enthalpy will be high for the second ionization enthalpy will be high for in case of chromium as well as in case of copper, because it is having completely filled d orbital. Second ionization enthalpy is high, because to remove the electrons from the completely filled d as well as the half filled, it is very difficult, hence ionization enthalpy will required is very high. This is about the copper and chromium. After this copper and chromium, next comes here zinc and manganese. If I take zinc, it is having argon 3d10 4s2 as its electronic configuration. Manganese, it is having argon 3d5 4s2. If we take first ionization enthalpy of these elements here, we have to remove the electron from a completely filled S subshell, 4s subshell. The energy required to remove the electron from completely filled orbitals is very high. Hence, ionization enthalpy is, first ionization enthalpy is high in case of zinc as well as in case of manganese. What happens after removal of electron here? Zn will form Zn plus argon 3d10 4s1 as its configuration. Here manganese will form Mn plus argon 3d5 4s1 as its configuration. If we take second ionization enthalpy here, second ionization enthalpy here, we have to remove the electron from 4s here off field. The energy required is low because it easily loses electron. After losing electron, it attains a stable half field. To attain stable half field configuration, manganese easily loses electron. Hence, its configuration becomes argon 3d5. To attain stability, to attain half filled orbitals, you know that half filled and completely filled orbitals are very stable. To attain stability, it easily loses the electron, hence its ionization. Second ionization enthalpy is low in case of manganese. Similarly, if you take for the zinc, Zn plus 2 here, ionization enthalpy is low. Second ionization enthalpy is low here because after losing one electron, it attains a stable completely filled orbitals. So, in case of zinc and manganese, first ionization enthalpy is high, second ionization enthalpy is low because it easily loses the electrons and attains a stable completely filled orbitals in case of zinc and half filled orbital in case of manganese. If you see the ionization enthalpy here compared to the second and third transition elements here, first transition elements, they are having low ionization enthalpy than compared with the second as well as third transition elements. In the next session, we study regarding the melting point, boiling point, enthalpy of atomization, oxidation state. Thank you.